Andrew Forsman joins us online. Andrew, I think he's won group races or stakes races in the South Island, Sydney and Melbourne, but never in the North Island. Is that right?
Yeah, you're right, actually. I hadn't really thought about it like that, but hopefully we can change that today.
Absolutely. Tell us about his condition. How is he?
He's good. He's very good, actually. Actually, just having thought about that, I thought he won the Manawatu Classic.
There you go.
So you're wrong.
Of course, that happens more often than not, Andrew, to be fair. It is a step up from what he's been doing into a weight for age 1600 metre race. How does he cope there?
I think he'll cope fine. I think, he's a seasoned, sort of mature horse now. Weight for age shouldn't worry him at all. I think it's more just the distance, really, up against horses that are probably better suited to the mile than he is.
Absolutely, yeah. So what about the way this race pans out? Have you gone through and sort of mapped out a game plan for him?
I think we're going to leave it to Jonathan a little bit. It'll just be a bit of a watch and see how he jumps, what he wants to do early. If he's keen and wants to put himself in a positive position, that wouldn't probably worry him too much. But if there is enough pace inside of him, obviously he does have an awkward, wideish draw in a small enough field. So he's going to be dictated to by how he jumps and what the others do inside him early on. And we've left Jonathan with a pretty blank canvas. I think he'll just have to figure it out.
I just saw that trial from Tauranga. What did you make of it?
It was okay. He's a horse probably over 1,000 or 1,200 metres on a fast track that's never really going to show up or do much at all. So I thought it was actually better than what he might do. So I was pretty pleased with what he did that day.
Absolutely, seemed to be hitting the line all right too. And we saw him on Tuesday morning out at the stable. Geez, he looks great too, doesn't he? He's really bright. Yeah,
he is. He's really well, and thankfully, still being a colt, he hasn't gotten too heavy. Physically, he's a very nice type still. He's athletic, and hopefully that should stand him in good stead this preparation.
Absolutely. You get him straight to Australia for a campaign that Murray Baker said on Tuesday was aimed at the Sydney Cup. What are your thoughts? How's he progressing towards that?
Yeah, he seems to be coming up well, and obviously today is a very important, start to that preparation. We just want to see him go a good race, and if he happened to get some of it, that would be a massive bonus. But yeah, just want to see a good resuming run, knowing that he should hit his straps over further, hopefully this time in.
Before we let Otaki go, River Falls and Caribbean Rose down there, how will they go?
River Falls, I think she strikes a suitable race. She's not overly big, but gets to go against her own age group and draws well, and the claim should help. So she's always a chance that things go in her favour. And Caribbean Rose probably been a touch disappointing. Just tends to leave herself too much to do and gets going a bit late when it's all over. So she's had a run over ground now. No excuses today, really.
Okay, yeah, I thought she was well suited in it today. We have a look towards Matamata now, Andrew, and Benita Aurelia goes around in the feature, the J-Salt Contractors Matamata Breeders' Stakes. She goes around as favourite on the back of her last start Taranaki Group 3 win. First of all, how do you assess it and how she come through?
She's come through it really well. She's very bright, quite straightforward to train, so no dramas there. It's more just a matter of how this field today shapes up and how you, I guess, compare the form to what she beat at New Plymouth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what about for you? How does it match up?
I think it's slightly stronger today, bigger field. Obviously, there'll be probably a little bit more pressure on, but drawn barrier four is a big help. She shouldn't have to do too much work early. Hopefully, she can hold a positive spot, perhaps just midfield or just forward of midfield would be ideal, and just angle out and get her chance.
A talking point has been her behaviour at the barriers, but she seemed to be right on her game at New Plymouth. What about today? Is there anything that gives you concern?
No, it's just a bit of a strange one. Why she started doing that, we don't know. But the barrier, the blindfold seems to have worked. She just gets around to the start. And obviously something about looking at the barriers and the thought of going into them she doesn't like. But once she's in there, she's fine. And with the blindfold on, she walked straight in at New Plymouth. She was perfect. And yeah, she's got no dramas once she's in there. So I don't think it's too much of a concern.
Expectations with her today, Andrew?
You'd like to think, she'll be a great top three chance, and hard to say. You can never be too confident because there's different form lines coming into it, but couldn't be happier with her and how she is going into the race.
Okay, all the rest of your runners from the first three races out of Matamata today. One we want to focus on is in the second, VCC, who was really good at stakes level last time out, the second placing in the Wairarapa Thoroughbred Breeders, 381.60. She comes up our favourite there. What are your thoughts on her? How has she come through her trip away down to the CD?
Yeah, she's in great form. She's very bright. She could easily have contested the Kaimai Stakes today. We just thought where she is in the handicap at the moment, we probably don't need to expose her too soon, and there's plenty of time to get her up over ground this preparation, and she's in really good form. So it's whether the mile today is a touch too sharp. That would be the only slight concern. I don't think it will be. She seems very bright, so she just needs the race run to suit, and I'm sure she'll run well.
Just looking at that again, the work she's done late has been very good indeed. What's she capable of going forward, Andrew?
She's still quite a lightly tried horse, so I think there's plenty of upside, but she has had a tendency to over-race and go quite keenly, so that's something we've spent a lot of time sort of working on, and I think keeping her to a shorter trip for now is probably going to help that heading forward. But if she can learn to relax as she matures, I think she can make a really classy staying there.
Okay, Crafty Jess in the same race. What about her?
Yeah, I thought she should have won last start. Just the tempo of the race counted against her and gave her very little chance, but I thought it was a great run all the same. Given the ground is perfect for her, she's probably just a little bit slower than it was at Tauranga last start, should be ideal, and yeah, she's a great each-way chance, I think.
Okay, and on to the Spec Maiden in the third. You've got Midnight Magic, who was good, winning last time out. Race winners into a special conditions maiden always sort of seem to go well, and you've opted for the claim here. Just tell us why. You've got down to 52.5 with a wide draw. Just tell us about the claim.
I think she's not an overly big filly for a good start, and I think when you look at where she sits in the scale, the weight scale, she's going to get a good swing in the weights from a horse like Packing Rockstar. I mean, I think it could be 6.5 or 7.5 kilos off him. So that's a decent pull for a smallish horse, and she has got an awkward barrier, so she's going to need a little bit of luck in the run. But if she does get any little bit of cover and can balance up, she'll be flying home late.
Just looking at that Avondale win last time out, was the Tyler horse on her outside a giant, or is she quite a diminutive little horse?
Yeah, she's not very big, and the other horse, he might have been quite big. So I don't know, but yeah, she's not overly big, and I think that the weight relief definitely will help her today.
Okay, Kabu, Celine Leon, and Savastep in the first. Just a quick word on those, Andrew.
All really good chances, actually. Savastep's been disappointing this preparation, but I think she's been racing on tracks too firm and fast, and by the first race at Matamata today, they might have had a little bit of drizzle as well. Should help her. And the other two, I think Kabu, forgive her run at New Plymouth, she just over-raced. She was too fresh, caught wide. A total forgive run, and Celine Leon I thought was solid at a distance too short last time.
Okay, where do we put our money today of the Baker Forsman runners, Andrew?
I like Midnight Magic. I think she's quite well placed at the weights.